Your information station, WTIM.
It's the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper, your host. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville. You'll always do better with Landmark, and people's make good trust where they put people first. Scoville Zoo in studio. They are open for business for you to see all their great animals. Director Ken Fry is here. Great to have you here.
Yeah, good morning.
You also have a very special animal named Pierce. Tell me what this animal is.
Yeah, I brought Pierce along with me today, and he's a tenrec, Tenrec, so tenrec. Okay. And it's kind of like a hedgehog. People always ask if they're hedgehogs, but they're not. They're kind of in that family, but they are insectivores like hedgehogs would be. But they're from Madagascar, and probably one of those divergent evolution kind of things where the hedgehog, evolved with spines as the tenrec, but they're really not that related. So other than being insectivores and being an insectivore, they eat insects. I asked my third graders, what's an insectivore eat? Insects. And so he's crawling along the forest floor, kind of digging through decaying vegetation and picking up grubs and worms and bugs and beetles and anything that he finds along the ground there. Those are his taco chips that he really likes, is those bugs on the ground. So yeah, so that's a tenrec from Madagascar.
Well, obviously, with them being in Madagascar, maybe a little bit abstract from here at home, but what's the population status of a tenrec right now?
I think they're vulnerable right now. They're just kind of losing some of their habitation, as a lot of animals are around the world. And so, and including Madagascar, a lot of the forest regions are being, it's kind of a livelihood for them there. You kind of don't want to ruin their livelihood by taking the lumber away, but hopefully we can save some of it for the animals like lemurs and the tenrecs here. So but they're not going extinct yet. So they're still kind of fairly common.
Right. Yeah. And their habitat mostly pertains to, you mentioned on the ground. They're kind of underground animals, or how?
On top of the ground. They might use little burrows or little digs, but as far as just along the ground is probably where they're spending most of their time, digging along and looking for the worms. They're not very good climbers, but they can go a little bit up in the air, not to the top of the trees, but a little bit. And you can see he's pretty active. He's been moving across my hands through this whole interview so far. Just he just wants to keep on running. And about the size of a mouse with a bunch of spines on him. I tell people it's kind of like that kid that has the spiky hair and he puts the gel in it, and it's just little hard hair. That's what it kind of feels like. It's hard, but it's not real pokey like the hedgehogs would be, but definitely very stiff hairs.
Yeah. What do tenrec insects? We already did that.
Yeah, and at the zoo we kind of have a little different, like a dry food diet for them as well. But then we give them mealworms as their treat as well, and occasional vegetation kind of stuff. Like chopped up veggies. But most of the time it's that it looks like a dog food, but it's an insectivore diet, so it's very nutritious for them, and that they like to crunch on. And then the live mealworms are their treats.
The Pierce kind of looks like a mini hedgehog. I almost kind of thought a little bit of porcupine in him. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah. Porcupine, just those spiky. Not the quills aren't quite that long, but very much spiky. But underneath, if you can see his belly here, very smooth, very just very fine hairs that are underneath there. And so as he's crawling across my hand, it's actually not poking my hand at all. So and they do have some serious teeth to him too. Like when he does open his mouth to crunch down on a mealworm or something, he's got some serious teeth that goes in that little bitty mouth of his, and that's why he can chew up the hedgehogs, or not the hedge, but the worms and the bugs and things that he catches in the wild.
And so this creature you can find at the Scoville Zoo. Where can you find him?
He's one of our ambassador animals, so he's kind of more behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
And kind of the place he's usually behind the scene is our herpaquarium, the reptile house, and it's under renovation this year. So after our Boo at the Zoo event in October ended, and in November we started moving the animals out, and then we demolished everything on the inside. So the outside wall stayed up, but everything that was on the inside, the exhibits and the walls, everything came down. So we're building it all new again. And so we're looking forward to that being done, which hopefully be about 6 weeks or so, mid-May, late May. They should be finishing that up. So we're patiently waiting for that to get done. One of the things they added was some big windows to that building on the north side of the building, which kind of looks out into one of the tortoise yard areas. And so people can actually see in from that side too. So as you're walking around, you can kind of see the progress being made on the inside of the herp aquarium, the reptile house renovation going on. So we're real excited about that too.
And then you can find other Tenrecs in that area.
We have 3 Tenrecs at the zoo. One's retired. He's kind of in that age where he's aged out of being a mobile zoo animal anymore. And he just gets to hang out and stay warm and exercise when he wants to, and eat bugs. So, and the other 2, Mossy and what do I call him? Pierce.
Yeah.
Pierce here. Mossy and Pierce. There are ambassador animals that will go out on mobile zoos to school groups and to nursing homes and fairs and kind of be our the what's that animal when we get out there. Yeah.
And not to mention the radio shows as
well. Radio, yeah.
Well, Ken, let's see. You are open now for the season, I understand.
We are, yeah. We opened up April 1st. No fooling. That was our first open day on Saturday, and it was a miserable day. It was cold and windy, and I don't. We had 30 people maybe show up, and I don't know why they came, but
credit to them.
Yeah, yesterday was beautiful, and we had 400 people or so that came to the zoo, and it was a very nice crowd, and it's fun to see people back in the zoo again. We have a lot of animals that are temperature dependent, and so they have to be put up in the winter into buildings and around the zoo. They all stay at the zoo, but they just are outside on exhibit, and so it's as the temperatures start warming up, we'll be able to get more of them out. And it's like 50 degrees for the tortoises. It has to be, for them to get out, and the alligators. And once they start hitting those temperatures, the monkeys and animals like that need to have a little warmer temperatures as well. And if it gets warm up during the day and it cools down at night, we can still bring them back inside those buildings, at nighttime. So they're kind of working into their routine as well as we are to get more animals out, but it'll happen. And it's happening right now. We're getting more animals out today.
When it is a little bit colder, what animals can you still see?
When it's really cold, like Saturday,
right?
When it was really windy and nasty and cold, the wolves, that they don't care about the temperatures, and the camels actually don't care about those temperatures. You might think they're more desert animals, but they're actually very winter hardy animals. And the cheetahs, they don't mind the cooler temperatures. You think an African savanna animal would, but they're actually kind of used to it. They're born here in the States, down in Texas. And so Illinois is a little colder to them, but they don't really care. The Barnyard animals are usually out. The prairie dogs like to pop up and look around. And the flamingos and the pelicans, they're usually out this time of year. And the eagle is out. So there's a lot of them that are still out. And then the train is running and the carousel is operating. So, we are still very busy at the time, and we're just kind of, like the monkeys were out yesterday, and the lemurs were out. Oh, we need to talk about lemurs.
Oh, we'll talk about lemurs here in a moment. I just kind of going back to a point you made a moment ago. It's interesting when you think about some of these desert type animals like a camel. A lot of times in those desert environments, it gets really cold too.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they're perfectly used to maybe a colder spring day per se.
Right. Yeah. And the Bactrian camel, the 2-humped version of the camel, comes from like Mongolia, China area, up on the steep or whatever they call that. And it gets very cold in the wintertime there. And so they grow a very thick fur in the wintertime. And so our camels do that too. They grow this really thick fur. And then in mid-May, late May, June, they're shedding it all off because it's getting kind of hot, and they look pretty ragged for a while, just shedding off their winter fur. And but then they start growing up right back. Come August and September, they're starting to get their winter coat back in again, even though it's still kind of warm outside, just in preparation. And in the wild, there's only 600 or so actual wild camels left in that region of the world. So they're actually, as a wild species, highly, highly endangered. But the domesticated Bactrian camel, 2-hump camel, is pretty common. Like the 2 we have at our zoo, they're very, very common. There's probably a couple million of the domesticated versions around. So they're not in danger of going extinct, but the actual wild camel is. So I find that interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. I want to talk a lot more about Scoville Zoo with director Ken Fry and Pierce the Tenrec
Yeah.
here on WTIM, your information station. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. And Landmark of Taylorville, you'll always do better with Landmark.
WTIM. Your information station. WTIM.
It's the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville. You'll always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. Scoville Zoo director Ken Fry and Pierce the Tenrec in studio. It's great to have you guys here.
Yeah, good to see you.
Great to have Pierce as well. I'll speak for him. I'm sure he's having a great time. And so, Ken, you mentioned something about how something really cool going on at Scoville Zoo right now concerning lemurs. Tell me
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, our keepers went into the lemur building just last week, about a week ago, and one of the females had two little babies that she was clutching to her chest, and she's a first-time mom, and we weren't really sure how well she would do, but she's actually doing really good with them, and the babies are doing well too. And yesterday, for the first time, they got to be out on exhibit with the other lemurs that we have, three others as well. And so it was fun to see her out with the twins, and she's being a real good mom right now, very protective and kind of holds them close. And I'm always impressed by the babies, just how they have that kung fu grip right after birth, and they can hang on to mama even though she's jumping 6 feet straight up in the air, and they kind of hang on. And yeah, it's just kind of fun to see that whole thing play out. So yesterday was the first time they were out on exhibit, and if you get the chance to see them, they're really cute at this stage. And when they get to explore a little bit in another month or so, they'll start walking a few steps away from mom, and then she'll pull them back. And then after another month, she pushes them away to go explore.
I
more,
want my own time now.
Yeah. And there's some other young ones in there or a young one in there named Gremlin, and he's very active around the exhibit. And he's one that hops from 8 feet across from branch to branch and straight up in the air, 6-8 feet, and he's always moving around the exhibit, and he's a lot of fun to watch. But I think the new babies, once they start to get their legs and jumping ability, they'll start following him a lot around the exhibit as well, playing with him.
You also have some new goats, I understand.
We do. Not even 24 hours old yet. Yeah, I was looking at the clock there, and they were born about a little after 10 yesterday morning. And so, they're adorable. That this is another first-time mom, and she had triplets, and had a male and 2 female, and the male was the firstborn, and then the 2 female after that, and black and a tan one, and then a black and white one. So they're all different looking. And and so it's kind of goats, I think, are amazing. Like this morning when I checked on them, they were walking around and doing little jump side kicks, and it's still not quite adult like, but they'll be all over that. Another, like I said, another week or 2 weeks, they'll be all over that goat yard, jumping up and down and jumping across logs and side kicking and headbutting each other. And it's it's just another fun process to watch. And people, I think, enjoy seeing those babies in those those areas as well.
I certainly would love to go to the Scoville Zoo and check out the new baby goats and the baby lemurs. Is it pretty rare to have triplet goats?
It's actually fair. Like twins are probably the most common to have, and then I'd say triplets and the single births are probably about equal in what they do.
Interesting.
So it's not unusual. It's like the 4. That's the one that's really unusual. And
Do you ever see 5?
I haven't. I've seen the 4, but I have not seen the 5.
But it's possible.
I don't know. I'm not that good.
I guess it's possible for humans.
Sure. Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
And I guess twins, it seems like you were a little bit more surprised to see twins for lemurs.
Yeah. We had, it's not unusual as well, but the last several births that we've had there have been single births. And so to see twins is kind of fun. We'll probably be trying to figure out names. I think they all have Greek mythology, except for Gremlin, kind of names to them. There's Athena and Hera, and some other names that we've had. But so we'll see what the keepers come up with, and maybe let the public vote on what they think is best.
I guess they are primates, so you can think about it in terms of rarity of twins, human twins. That's about probably correlates without having the data in front of us, obviously. Now, one of the things that you guys do at Scoville Zoo, you guys offer a lot of events for the community and families. You have one coming up this weekend.
We do. We have our free egg hunt. It's our critter egg hunt. It's this coming Saturday, April 8th. It'll start a little after 1:30, and we're going to try to, with the pandemic and all that stuff, we started doing different heats just to have it not as many people going at the same time. But we'll still try that. So we'll have a 140, 155, and a 210 heat on Saturday. And we throw eggs out. They're empty eggs out on the ground, and kids collect the eggs and turn those in for a treat bag at the end of the hunt. And so if they've collected 0 or 102, they can still turn those in and get a treat bag at the end of the hunt, which has some chocolate and sweets and little toys in them as well. So also on Saturday, we have $3 admission all day long. Our normal admission is $9.25 for adults, $7.25 for kids, and then $8.25 for seniors. And then our train ride is $4. Our carousel is $3, and we're open 7 days a week now, all the way to early October.
And so pay the $3 admission and have a free egg hunt Saturday.
Yeah, free egg hunt on Saturday. Yeah, so a special day.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Ken, anything else that you'd like to announce or mention before you go?
Our hours, we open at 9:30 in the morning, and during the week right now, the last admission's at 4. If you're in by that time, you can stay till 5. On the weekends, the last admission's at 5, and you can stay in the zoo till 6. And then once Memorial Day gets here, we'll be 9:30 to 6 with the last admission at 5, 7 days a week to early August.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that is director of the Scoville Zoo, Ken Fry. He's here with Pierce the Tenrec. Thank you both so much for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville. You'll always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You'll find the streams on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. See you later, Pierce. Hope you are having fun showing everybody about the Scoville Zoo. It's WTIM, your information station.